finale. Hey, the 9th-ranked Tennessee Lady Vols taking on the Missouri Tigers. Lady Vols trying to sweep the Tigers here at home before heading into next week's SEC tournament. Let's catch you up on the last couple of days and how we got to this point. Well, it was Tennessee's All-American in the circle, Carlin Pickens, having another masterful performance and picking up the win in Game 1. Game 2, the spotlight belonged to Ella Dodge. She was on one, drove in 3 of the 4 runs for Tennessee as she lifted her team. Meanwhile, it has been a tough series for the Missouri Tigers, dropping a game below 500. That's all important, folks, and we'll tell you why in just a moment as we say hello and welcome you in with the 2-time national champion out of Oklahoma, Aaron Miller-Thiessen. I'm Tiffany Green. When you think about what there is to play for the Tennessee Lady Vols, obviously they're trying to position themselves for next week's SEC tournament. Missouri, though, trying to do a now or never type of situation for the NCAA tournament.
It's must-win for Mizzou. And if you talk to Coach Larissa Anderson, it's felt like that since mid-March, dropping some losses against some teams that should have been in the W column. And on the other side, it's Tennessee. This is what they're prepping for. You mentioned their ace, Carlin Pickens, fine-tuning some things as they look towards their sights at the SEC tournament.
As of now, Missouri would start off on the first round against Auburn. Meanwhile, the Lady Vols, again, looking for a little help from Texas A&M as they've got 2 games today against Oklahoma to clinch that double bye for Missouri. Okay, let's set up the clip here and what their tournament resume looks like to you.
This is the reality. And you can see the RPI. I mentioned some of those loss column games earlier in this year with teams that, honestly, they should have taken care of business with. And so now they've painted themselves into a bit of a corner.
And starting things off, the first pitch fouled away. Sierra Harrison in the circle. Meanwhile, this is a look at the Lady Vols lineup. Ella Dodge, who has just been spectacular in that leadoff spot at the plate, and even 500. Alana Leach has been on one as well. She and her twin sister are on deck and in the hole. 42-8 overall on the season for this 9th-ranked Tennessee team. High expectations for this group. Yet again, the 1-1 pitch fouled off, and it's now a 1-2 count.
A lot of speed at the top of this order for Ella Dodge. 11 stolen bases on the year. Had a heck of a sophomore campaign, and you got to look at the home runs too. You have to respect the speed and the pop of this bat at the top of the order for Tennessee.
It's Dodge who paces this team and home runs. Had one yesterday. Again, we mentioned her RBI production. The top of this order has had success here on the road against the Tigers. Now the sophomore out of Bradenton, Florida, awaits the pitch. Once again, fouled away. Sierra Harrison back in the circle. We saw her in Game 1, the senior out of Lee's Summit, right here from the Show Me State. 3.47 ERA, getting her 27th start of the season.
4 years at Missouri for Sierra Harrison. Was a COVID recruit. Had her official visit over Zoom. If you can believe, can you believe it's been 6 years since COVID? That is just crazy to me. This is what she brings to the circle. Pretty much all quadrants, can top out at 68 miles an hour. Does so well managing the corners.
And a leadoff walk to Ella Dodge. Harrison, who was ahead in the count early on against Dodge. But she will take first base. So the leadoff batter is aboard. And Alana Leach now at the plate. Leach, who has also showed off her home run power here this weekend. Blasted a solo shot in Game 1 for a team tying best 12 home runs as well with Dodge. Leach sees that one outside. And now with 2-0 count, we talked about Sierra Harrison and her time here. This is senior day. She is one of a handful of seniors being honored and recognized today. That one pulled foul down the first baseline. And what Harrison is hopeful for today is to close out with a win here on her home field and get her team back up to 500 against a very tough Tennessee team. They have been excellent throughout this season in their SEC series. Picked up a huge series win last weekend against Alabama. Also was able to walk away with series wins against Mississippi State, South Carolina, LSU, and Kentucky. The 2-2.
You can see this Mizzou defense playing a little bit of shade towards that pole side of the field. Alana Leach, a lot of pop. Both the Leach sisters hitting back-to-back in that 2 and 3 hole. 12 home runs, followed by the 10 home runs on deck with her twin.
That one fielded in fair territory. And Addie Waits is able to get her at first base. Meanwhile, heads-up base running by Ella Dodge, who advances to third on the throw.
Now, this is the power of the speed of Ella Dodge. 11 stolen bases on the year, and what looks to be a little bit more than a routine out at third base. She's able to see that throw across the diamond, grab an extra 60 feet, and setting up a nice opportunity here for Gabby.
As you mentioned, the Leach twins, Gabby Leach, they've been in a nice home run battle back and forth. Her twin sister, they're both out of the Woodlands, Texas, part of that Leach legacy at Tennessee. Sister Aubrey, who's on staff with player development. Gabby Leach hitting just above 300. And an opportunity to strike first for the Lady Vols into left field and over the left fielder's head. Lenny Ramsey, who came up, took that step in first, goes all the way to the warning track, and an RBI for Gabby Leach. So Tennessee on the board first.
This is just a straight up misread. You can see there's no drop step from Ramsey in left field. She immediately takes a step in, but the spin of this line drive from Gabby Leach continues to climb over the head of Ramsey. I as an outfielder myself, I know that one stings because those balls right at you, so hard to read the spin, the trajectory. But it's that age-old tale of first step back always. Take a drop step back, see it in front of you. That one burns her.
That brings up Emma Clark after Leach's 9th double of the season. And Clark down to the count, 0-2. And I'm going to go back to something you mentioned just about the misread there in left field. Something where Larissa Anderson has always hung her hat for this Missouri team is their defense. And they have been challenged, but here Harrison able to ring up the strikeout first of the game. That retires Clark, and 2 down.
Massive response from the senior here. She's able to go low. This is a screwball that breaks back into the plate at the knees. And interesting just looking at the splits for Harrison against lefties and righties. She struggled the most against right-handed swingers. She's had 36 walks out of the hand of Harrison this year. Well, 24 of those walks have been against righty swingers. And there she sits down, Emma Clark. First righty she's seen all day.
5 different lefty bats in the lineup for Karen Weekly. Another one right here, so hitting from the other side. We're talking about Taylon Holly. Holly, one of the newcomers, a part of a relatively young team for this group out of Knoxville. She brings a fun zest to this group, but currently down 0-2. That goes over the head of Abrascato.
There's a lot of free stuff this inning. I mean, the cardinal sin of the leadoff walk against Ella Dodge, one of the quickest legs in the starting 9. She comes around to score, and then an extra 60 feet there awarded for Gabby Leach. Off speed, 55 miles an hour. I haven't seen that a lot out of Harrison yet.
And the senior trying to get out of the inning, not giving up any more to Lady Vols. Now the count draws full with that ball high. So 3-2 to Holly. Had a hit in both games. We've seen her move around in the lineup this weekend. A freshman that Karen Weekly is high on. A lot of young, rising talent for this group. Holly puts this one in the air. 3 yellow jerseys around, and it's the end of the top of the first, but not before the Lady Vols strike first. They're up 1. Bottom of the first, 1-run advantage for Tennessee. In the circle for the Lady Vols, it's Erin Newer, the sophomore out of East Aurora, New York, a part of that vaunted pitching staff for the Lady Vols.
Sophomore arm, just such brilliant movement in the circle. I think when you think of Tennessee's staff, it's easy to think about speed, which Newer obviously has, Pickens obviously has, but to me, it's the break, the spin, the tight RPM from Newer that makes her so elite. That floaty rise ball, very, very Frisbee-like up in the zone, and that vertical separation between her rise and drop is just so good.
This Tennessee staff leading Division I in ERA with, as you mentioned, the 2-time SEC Pitcher of the Year, Carlin Pickens, and Sage Marjeko. And that's going to be a tall task for this Tiger lineup. It's going to try to find some production at the plate. They were able to swing it a little bit better yesterday, came up with 5 hits in that one for the night before. And have produced 3 runs in this series. Stefania Abrascato, the catcher, who's on deck, has had herself a nice weekend driving in a couple of runs. She's going to need some help if they want to try to topple this 9th-ranked Tennessee team. Well, Addie Waits, the freshman from right here inside the state, walked to lead off both games this series. And one thing that Larissa Anderson wants to see shift or change is that when you have those opportunities to bring in runs, you've got to find ways to produce. They've left the bases loaded in the first inning each of the last 2 games. So now a 3-1 count, a hitter's count to Waits.
Especially a team that has had to fight hard to put runs up on the board. When you do get those gifts, when you get the free passes and you're able to hit some pitching hard early in the game, taking advantage early, often, especially against a stout pitching staff like Tennessee. They hit Marjeko well yesterday in the first inning and then left him loaded.
And this one over to first base, and McClark tags the base, and 1 down. And again, going back to what I just mentioned, loading the bases in the opening frame each of the last 2 games. Last night, they were able to produce a run. The game before, a goose egg. So here, 1 down, and Abrascato swings through that changeup.
A big part of their run production the past 2 days from Abrascato. has been this junior bat from the left side. Big difference for her this year was being able to spread her power to all fields, hitting both sides of the strike zone, not leaving a gaping hole in her approach. Think about just how offensively heavy our game is right now because of data, scouting reports, everything at your fingertips. I think she was aware that there was some holes in her swing. That's been a difference maker for her in this junior season.
And this one, once again, the hot shot to Clark, and what an effort there to stretch out to tag the bag. And Abascado is retired. Well, a couple of unassisted plays at first base by Emma Clark.
Mentioned the scouting reports and the data, how deep Emma Clark is playing. That right side of the field, giving honor and respect to the pull side power of Abascado, and it pays off. Great defensive play there behind Neuer.
Again, you're looking at a Tennessee team, much like a Missouri team, one of the top 10 teams from fielding percentage perspectives in all of Division I. A great two-way player in Abby Carr, the freshman, at the plate. And Carr, who has just come on campus in her first season and immediately made an impact, leading the team in home runs, RBI. See that 2.53 ERA? She leads the team in that as well.
Just a natural. It's in her blood. Dad played pro ball. Mom pitched at Pitt. I mean, this is one of those kids that was just born to lace up the cleats and play on this dirt. Comes very natural to her. Such a gamer, high IQ for the sport.
And she's going to be a player that's going to be so much fun to watch in the future. NFCA Freshman of the Year, top 25 finalist list. And a lot of excitement around this freshman. Right back up the middle, the two-out single from Abby Carr.
When you talk to Coach Anderson about this young woman, in her freshman season, the word that would come to mind for her was carefree. Here with 2 outs on the board, she's unafraid. A big hack, that ball's elevated, a rise ball, let her high, hits it right back up the middle of the field. Just a great swing from a young bat.
Abby Hay now standing in at the plate. Hay, the junior from right here in Columbia, Missouri. 331 batting average. And Hay, who's got good power in that bat. And we're going to see a trip to the circle from Megan Rhodes Smith out of the dugout, the great pitching coach for the Tennessee Lady Vols in her 6th season. The way that she's been able to just manage the arms on this staff, and it is truly a staff, and just trying to come out, settle down the youngster of the 3 arms that we're used to seeing over a weekend to try to get out of the inning. But look at this. This just speaks to how great Megan Rhodes Smith has been. The arms that she's had to work with. First once again in earned run average.
It's easy, I think, for people to key in on Carlin Pickens on this team. I get it. I mean, when you're seeing somebody humming up to almost 80 miles an hour, chasing record after record for speed in the sport of softball, it's easy to talk about her, but it really is the staff. I mean, Tennessee, it's all of their arms, the excellence in management of ERA, of starts, of coming in to close. I mean, we talked about Pickens coming in and slamming the door shut for Tennessee the past 2 games. This is a complete staff effort led by Megan Rhodes Smith, just a phenomenal program historically when it comes to dominant arms.
And now the sophomore has given up a base hit and a walk to the last two Missouri batters. Sydney Forrester up to the plate, finds herself with a keen opportunity with 2 outs here to try to keep the inning going or perhaps tie up the ball game with the swing. Go back to that last series against Arkansas. She was able to knock a shot out of the park in that game 3 against the Razorbacks. So she's got that home run power leading the team in that category. The 0-2 count. Outside for ball 1.
This has been the story. Runners on. I mean, Mizzou has just really struggled to put the nail in the coffin in big-time opportunities, and that's been the difference for them all season long.
And coming up with the strikeout is Aaron Newer, and continuing to party. Oklahoma has a chance to win it outright if they can pick up 2 today in the doubleheader against A&M, who currently already has a win in the series. How about Alabama? Again, there are all these different clinching scenarios. You can like run yourself crazy going through it. Florida currently in action against Georgia. That season, or rather that series, even the rubber match going on right now.
Yeah.
Bulldogs
I think
have the lead of the game.
biggest take of that, if this then that scenario, is all eyes on A&M and Oklahoma, because depending on what happens with those two teams, I think is the domino effect of all the other results. But yeah, we could potentially have, if all those dominoes fall a specific way, 4 teams sharing a regular season title. I don't know if that has ever happened before.
Wow. Wow. And it was not that long ago as that first pitch swing, and Elsa Morrison into right field, and the snag there from Forrester. And the leadoff batter is retired.
This is the Missouri defense that we're so used to seeing. A nice leaping grab there from Forrester. That got off the bat in a hurry. Could she have maybe gotten behind that? Possibly, but that thing came off the bat hot.
Loud out to start off top 2. Sophia Knight now at the plate. Check swing there. This is a conversation that we have had with, you know, Karen Weekly earlier in the week, just about this bottom of the lineup and being able to produce. We saw Sophia Knight at the leadoff spot earlier in the season. She was the typical leadoff and then had an illness for some time, as that one, a little stinger, gets a piece of Knight, and she takes first base. Some hesitation there as Karen Weekly now comes over to chat it up with home plate umpire.
I'd be shocked if this isn't going to get looked at. You could see maybe some hesitancy from Sophia Knight. To the blind eye, at least up here in the booth, I thought that hit off of the end of her bat. Just the knob of the bat, which would pull her back into the box. That would not be a hit by pitch. Yeah, that is the end of the bat.
Yep. And she was hesitant too. I mean,
there was no sell job there.
So J.C. Bartley, home plate umpire, had a conversation with Karen Weekly and also with Larissa Anderson. And we're going to hear from crew chief Donald Brown. This one's going to be reviewed.
Missouri has challenged the previous play. The call on the field was a hit by pitch. This play is under review.
So call on the field is hit by pitch. I'll tell you, Tiff, I will be hard pressed to think this won't be overturned. To me, that's pretty clear, right off of the end of the bat. You can even see that knob sticking out. She's choked up on the barrel. She's trying to have a short, like a punch, soft slap through the box. So there's a little bit of real estate at the end of that bat to make contact with that pitch.
So we'll see if this review is successful, as getting a chance to talk with Command Center on this challenge, and it feels pretty simple that we could see this overturned.
After review, the call on the field has been changed. We have a foul ball due to the umpire killing the play. So we have a count now of no balls and 2 strikes. Missouri retains this challenge.
It's a big change here for Sierra Harrison to go from yet what could have been a back-to-back inning with the the second hitter on with less than 2 outs. Now she gets an 0-2 count here. And Sophia Knight, you started to go into it, Tiffany. The lower half of this lineup, I think, was a big point of contention for head coach Karen Weekly for Tennessee. She said the bottom half of this lineup has to get grittier. We have got to see better production from that 7, 8, 9. Scrapping for runs is getting harder and harder, especially through the end of SEC play, and needing 1 through 9 to work together to get runners on, to set the table, turn the lineup over. It is grind time for the bottom half of this order.
And when you think about this team looking to make another run to the Women's College World Series, they were there just last year. They've gone 2 of the last 3 seasons. Karen Weekly knows that, yes, you have to have great pitching, but you've also got to be able to have that production to come up with the hits in timely manners throughout the lineup. Sierra Harrison with her second strikeout caught Sophia Knight looking.
First strikeout looking for Harrison. This is a screwball, low and away. Breaks maybe half a ball off the plate, but too close to take if you're Sophia Knight. You are not leaving that pitch in the umpire's hands.
Bella Fall, the shortstop, young lady who has just come up in this Tennessee program, an excellent infielder, lots of potential, and again, you've watched things kind of rise throughout this Tennessee season because of great efforts both in the field and at the box. 42 and 8, as we mentioned, overall. 8 in RPI. That one hits the end of the bat. If you go back to that graphic after, there is some clarification here. Fall was trying to sell this one here to say, this one hit me, but it too looked like it got the end of the bat.
It looked like a little bit of an attempt to swing there, at least a very aggressive take from Bella Fall.
And you saw immediately from Karen Weekly to indicate a challenge.
Tennessee is challenged in the previous play. The call on the field was a foul ball. This play is under review.
There's a good look. Mentioned the very aggressive take. Barrel does stay back, so there is no attempted swing here. A nice hold by Bella Fall. But that, to me, does stay below the barrel, does stay below the knob. That hits the forearm, the back forearm of Fall.
Indeed it does. So
it's pretty clear.
Just a reminder to our viewers, each coach gets 2 challenges. They win them, they keep them. We saw Larissa Anderson successful. Let's hear.
After review, the call on the field has been changed. We have a hit batter. Tennessee retains this challenge.
And now Karen Weekly successful as well. So what looked to be a hit by pitch earlier was not, and was not called a hit by pitch just now, changed. So Bella Fall takes first base with 2 away. So challenges intact. The 9-hole hitter, Maddie Rutan, is at the plate.
Well, this is one of those situations that Coach Weekly has harped on. Bottom of the order, runners on.
First pitch swinging sky high in the infield foul territory and just losing it in the sun. Addie Waits, who was waiting for it, drop down, so it's Rutan who gets another opportunity. But again, just a
little sun
in the skies here.
Well, you can see the face mask of Waits. There's no jersey, there's no eye black, there's no sunglasses. You can see just utter confusion and really no communication there from the infield, from the catcher, Abruscato. Zero chase or effort to what could have and should have been out number 3 for Mizzou.
Harrison ahead of the count 0-2 with 2 quick foul balls off the bat of Maddie Rutan, who's been slumping as of late, but broke through with a hit yesterday. And so the transfer from Eastern Kentucky swings away again. Another similar situation. This time it's playable once more, and coming up with it was Addie Waits. And you saw her use the advantage of the glove to shield, to track that ball, bring it all in the glove, and we head Lexington, Kentucky. Great host site for this year's SEC tournament. We've got 11 teams ranked in the top 25 coming out of the conference.
Every year we talk about the strength of the SEC, but my goodness. I actually did one of my first games. First time I've been to Lexington was this season. Beautiful stadium, beautiful part of the country, green, groomed. It's horse racing country, baby.
Oh, yeah, Keeneland.
Kentucky Derby. Hey, hey.
John Crop Stadium is going to be the site starting again May 5th through 9th. We saw Texas winning it all last year. Prior to that, it was all Oklahoma. They won, what, 4 straight. And so, again, you talk about the strength of the SEC, those 2 teams joining the conference a couple of years ago, and only to bolster that adage even more.
Oklahoma and A&M sharing that tournament title last year. Remember that game got cut short due to weather. Weren't able to play that championship game.
The 2-2 to Lenny Ramsey. Inside, and that's ball 3. Well, Aaron Newer, who came in this weekend with the 3rd best ERA in the country. And again, one of those arms that is just dazzled here with full count, the payoff to Ramsey. And gets her out in front. Changed it up. And Aaron Newer records her 2nd strikeout. But going back to that conversation with the strength of the SEC, this is just insane.
It's nuts. Truly nuts. Especially when you think about what the road ahead is going to mean. You've got the SEC tournament, you've obviously got regional supers, and then you look at that list and you're like, well, surely those are Women's College World Series contenders. So who is not making it to that dance?
Right. And you know, Tori Vidales had a thought recently. She broke things down with Dari about, you know, who she thought could make it to the Women's College World Series and maybe do it all.
Yeah.
Arkansas, who's been knocking on the door. You saw them #1 in RPI.
Yep.
Courtney Deifel picks up win 400 last night, clinches that series against Texas.
I think Bama looks good this year.
Yeah.
They're a very complete team. I think Murphy's put together a heck of a defense, and offense has been so steady for them. Yeah, there's a lot of talent out there.
Off the glove, in and out of Maddie Rutan's glove. And Madison Updegrove is aboard with 2 outs.
We'll wait to see how this is going to be scored. This is a hot shot off of the heel of Rutan at 3rd base. It's a rise ball, letter high. They are going to give it a base hit. Maybe I'm just an old grouch up here, but I think that play needs to be made.
So fortunate to come up with a base hit here again with 2 outs. We saw that last inning with Abby Carr, and now Updegrove does it once again. And the 9-hole hitter in Kaylee Linger at the plate. So many players on this roster, homegrown talent, stayed in state. Linger is one of them. Played her ball at Liberty North High School and then has spent the next 4 years here in Columbia, Missouri. Through the 3-4 hole along the right side. And back-to-back base hits for the Tigers.
This is the moment, right? Tiff, we talked about this from the very start of this game, and honestly, we saw it all weekend. From Mizzou, they get on a hot streak, they punch some things together, they start to hit Tennessee hard, but they can't get it through the finish line. Right here, less than 2 outs. Well, there is 2 outs, but how can they put it together?
Right back at you. Look to be off the leg of Newer. Everybody safe. 3 singles in a row, and Newer took a shot.
Wow.
You hope that she's okay immediately. Both the pitching coach and the trainer, Kaylee Olson, coming out to check as well.
Yeah, you can see Newer struggling a little bit. This was fast off of the bat. Just the top of the kneecap for Newer. Bounces all the way to Rattan at third. And yet another bases loaded situation here for Mizzou. We saw it in game 1, we saw it in game 2. And now we see it here in game 3. It rolls that lineup back over to Abbruscato.
And after a visit from Karen Weekly, who comes out as well, a couple of pitches just to see how that leg feels after taking a shot. And I think
about what's on the line,
yeah.
right? I mean, you have to make sure that she is feeling good and that she can hold this down to collect the last out. Only got a 1-run lead. Tiff, we saw Carlin Pickens come in to assist the starting arms both in game 1 and game 2. There is a little bit of action in the pen right now.
And this is too where trust within your player and for her to be able to communicate how she's feeling, because you know that Erin Newer wants to stay out there, right? She's a gamer, right?
Absolutely. Sage Marjeko was the one getting the arm loose in the pin. But to your point, knowing the heart, the grit, the fight of Erin Newer, and that kneecap would have to be hanging off for her to want to be taken off the field.
So she's going to power through with Abbruscato at the plate. And again, not to harp on it, but this is yet again another pivotal moment within this game, but throughout this weekend. Runners in scoring position, 4 for 17 so far for Missouri's offense. Can they produce? And Abbruscato can be the one to do it. She's got a great opportunity here with 2 outs.
This is who you'd want up if you're Mizzou. Off speed low.
Good job by Elsa Morrison behind the plate. Keep it in front. So up to Grove at third, Linger at second, Waits at first, bases juiced, and the pitch from Newer. Abbruscato hits this one opposite field and foul.
Newer pretty evenly distributed with performance and success against righties and lefties.
The 2-2. Got her! Bringing up Abbruscato, and Newer closes the door. 3 left on base, nothing doing for Mizzou. Or share of the SEC title. That one knocking Dodge in ahead. That's a scary moment right there. The helmet going back up just about.
Wow.
Hear the knock immediately. She tries to get out of the way. And the face
Wow.
guard and shield.
A little bit of
able
a matrix move
Oh.
there. Wow, that hit the face mask and
Yeah.
pulled the helmet off. I am so glad she is okay. And if that is not also proof of why the face mask is needed,
Yes.
I am always and will forever die on that hill. Wear the face mask. Wear it.
So Leach, who grounded out to third at the plate again, hits this one into center field. A diving attempt from Langer, couldn't get to it. And sliding into third base is Dodge. Leach standing at second. And a double for Alana Leach.
Straight up no man's land. Right on the fist, she's able to punch this in front of Langer in center field. The diving attempt, Ramsey's having to cut across to back her up, and an extra 60 feet for Ella Dodge. Second time we've seen her grab an extra base with aggressive base running. Wheels constantly in motion for her.
And it's Dodge who's responsible, rather Leach, who's responsible for the lone run of the game. Had an RBI double back in the first. And if you're scoring that at home, they're going to rule that a single,
Yep.
and advance on the throw.
These are the Leach sisters. Hitting in that 2-3 hole, quite the pair hitting back to back. How cool is that? To play with your twin and hit next to each other in the lineup. You see the power. I mean, that really sticks out to me. 12 and 10 home runs between Alana and Gabby. The third and fourth in this family to play at Tennessee. There's Dad.
Oh, he's got to be proud,
A lot of
right?
Lady Vol pride.
Yeah, you had Aubrey, who was a beast. Like, she
A
was
beast,
excellent,
yes.
playing in the USL now. Kelsey as well, playing her final seasons. But the lineage goes even further back. Grandmother played for the Rockford Peaches.
Incredible.
Remember that was dramatized in a league of their own?
Infield pinched in just inside the base path there.
And this one into the outfield. Ramsey underneath it in the left field. And the good throw at home past the cutoff and keeping Dodge at bay at third base.
How about showing off the gun there for Ramsey? You saw Ella Dodge do the pump fake. She takes off third, but it was the absolute shot from Ramsey in left field to say, not today, not today.
Now one away with Emma Clark, who struck out her first time up. Trying to lay down the bunt. And coming back to the plate. Well, you look at 1, 2, 3 in the order for Tennessee this series. There's 10 of 26 they've produced. 5 of the 8 runs, or rather 5 of the 7 runs that we have seen from them this weekend. Now can other parts of the lineup get into the action? And Clark is one of those batters who's just seen the ball well. As of late, she was solid in that series against Bama, especially in Game 3, to notch the win against, as we mentioned, a very good Crimson Tide team, coming up with productive at-bats. But here, trailing in the count 1-2. And Harrison need to come up with another big pitch and try to get the out here. Tried to paint the outside corner, not given. Is J.C. Bartley behind the plate.
Mizzou faithful wanted that one.
Yeah.
But that was a ball.
But they were all in.
They
You
were
know,
all in.
right? They were selling, right? Their oohs were selling. This time, painting the inside part of the plate. And Harrison, this time catching Clark, looking second time she struck out Clark. And a big one here.
Yeah, opposite side of the plate. Gets her to look on the outside for ball, and then comes back in with the screw. Just absolute money. Painted the corner. It's the second strikeout, looking third, though, of the day for Harrison.
Now Taylon Holly, 0 for 1. She flied out to left her first time up. And with Dodge on third, Leach standing at second, both in scoring position. Little dribbler back to Harrison, and give it up for Sierra Harrison, getting out of a jam. Couple of runners left. The Tigers head coach, Larissa Anderson, senior day. And when you think about the seniors for this program, Sierra Harrison, the way that she's responded, talk about the true Tiger that not only she, but this senior class is all about.
Yeah, Harrison and Langer, born and raised in Missouri, have been true Tigers through and through. They bleed black and gold. She's thrown great out there. She's gutsy. I would want her in my foxhole for sure.
Coach, your team has had opportunities, especially to score against one of the toughest staffs in the nation. What is it going to take for them to finally cash it in?
Barrel on ball. I mean, keep it simple. I mean, we're chasing when we're in those situations. We had a great opportunity right there with the bases loaded. And, I mean, they're throwing great. They are. But we have to be able to be a little bit more selective and handle pitches that we know we can barrel up.
All right, thanks, Coach. We
Thanks.
appreciate the time.
MIZ.
You heard Coach just talk about, you know, let's take advantage of some of the opportunities. But again, you've got to credit.
Yeah, Newer in the circle has been a stud.
Yeah. And throughout this series, and this is the first time we've seen Newer this weekend, 23 strikeouts in 16 innings pitched for this Lady Vol staff. That was a huge strikeout to end the inning against Stefania Abrascato in bottom second. So here now is Abby Carr. And Carr, who we mentioned, is one of those young talents in this program. And I know Larissa Anderson is hopeful that she has the opportunity to continue to develop this young lady and all of her gifts throughout her career here at Mizzou, much like Langer and Harrison.
Mentioned about the carefree mentality of this bat. Now she really approaches this game like she's got nothing to lose. She had that 2-out single back in the first inning.
It's got to feel nice to just come in with just not a lot on your shoulders, not putting that pressure on yourself. The 3-1 pitch swung through, and now the count draws full.
And the challenge is, as you continue to earn your stripes, can you maintain and hold on to that perspective, right? As the game starts to build on you, you start to get some reps, start to get a scouting report on you. It's like, can I continue to hold on to that carefree nature?
The strikeout, back-to-back strikeouts. You go back to last inning for Newer, and now starting off bottom 3 with a K.
Fourth strikeout for Newer. Curveball, a little bit of an off-speed, pulls the string just enough for Carr to be out in front of this.
Abby Hay at the plate, and much like you were talking about, as things continue to build on you, right? Her freshman season was fantastic, and then saw some struggles last year. And sometimes the challenge is putting that pressure, again, that we've talked about on yourself for not performing.
Yeah.
But nothing then can replace, though, how hard you play and the effort that you put in, right?
Coach Anderson was very honest with us. She said sophomore slump hit Abby Hay really hard, but this season has been a lot less pressure. She started to settle back into her game during this junior season, playing the game hard now with aggressiveness. I think that's the difference, like playing to win versus playing with a fear to lose, and that has been the leaf that Abby Hay has turned over in her third season.
Fouled off, and you look at the infield there, giving newer props, trying to ring up another Tiger batter. Another full count. The pitch inside for ball 4. Well, tonight, number 25, Florida in action in Norman, Oklahoma to take on the 15th ranked Sooners, the second of a big 3-game series coming your way right here on the SEC Network at 7 Eastern. You could also catch it on the ESPN app. Oklahoma won their 6th game in their last 8 tries last night, rallying back with a 3-run 8th inning to beat the Gators. And that was a great shot by our camera crew and our director, Michael Ireland, finding everyone who's just like sprawled out, chilling. What was crazy is when you were talking with Larissa Anderson, you know, this is what, May 2nd? And it's low 60s right now?
Little breeze.
Little breeze. She says, honey, this is not breeze.
This is nothing.
This is nothing.
Well, our papers are flying up here.
Yeah, they are. The 1-1 to Forrester. Sydney Forrester waited on that one. The patience and to the warning track, so close. The loud out for Sydney Forrester.
Sydney Forrester was working for that extra 6 inches to try and get that over center field. Wow. Would have been a game changer. That swing would have been a game changer. Deepest part of this park. Just shy, maybe 215 right there at the track. And you got to tip your cap tonight in center field, tracking that ball down. This is not her home turf. I mean, as an outfielder, speaking as an outfielder, like that takes some wherewithal to know where you are in time and space on this field, to see your body to the wall, stay committed to that ball in the glove. And that's a massive game-changing catch.
And when we just talk about the wind, it's blowing in just a little bit. You talk about those, those 6 inches, right, that were needed. Just enough. So with 2 down, Hay on first. It's Sanaya Hill who bounces it over to short. Fall tags the bag, and that ends the inning. So a runner left on base, but it's still our ESPN family of networks. Hey, look, this is the top 7 standings as of now. Things can shift and change for Tennessee. They're on the outside looking in for that top 4 spot, which would mean a double bye starting Tuesday's next week's tournament. Tongue twister.
I think all eyes on that A&M OU doubleheader today.
Yeah, my question is, okay, so we've talked OU, right? And they're always deep. But like Kendall Wells, will she...
A monster.
Okay, will she tie? Well, listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Elsa Morrison is channeling her own power and takes it over the left field wall.
We started to get into some home run talk there, and Elsa Morrison said, I need to join this conversation. I gotta tell you, just before this half inning, this Lady Vol team was huddled around the mouth of this dugout with a fired up Karen Weekly up in their grill, up in their kitchen, trying to get something started here offensively.
Out on the berm, old buddy was like, you don't even need to hold my beer. I got this.
Didn't spill a drop.
Nah. 5th home run of the season. Oh, man, with little baby on the blanket, too? Come on, man, that was clutch. The berm is great, the weather terrific, the attendance throughout the season at Mizzou Softball Stadium, top 5 in all of Division I softball.
This Lady Vol team understanding the power of the insurance run. That one swing from Sydney Forrester deep to center field could have changed the trajectory of this game. Well, Tennessee want to give themselves a little bit of insurance here at the top of the 4th.
Well, if you go back to game 1, it was Tennessee who capitalized on some miscues from the Tigers, able to take control. And then we saw Mackenzie Butt do a nice job coming in, pinch hitting. And she, along with Sophia Knight, coming over from Boise State. And so the former Broncos making an impact on this Lady Vol team. Knight was a 2-time first-team All Mountain West selection, chops it over to third base. The stretch out from Hay, the throw delivered by Waits, and the 5-3 put out.
We talked about the transfers from Boise State. We've also talked about the freshman impact, Elsa Morrison, one of those freshmen. That was just her 5th home run in her freshman campaign. That was an absolute monster, no doubter, deepest part, pull side. You get a good look at the transfers this year.
And I think what's so interesting and impressive, right? It speaks to Coach Karen Weekly, who's been with this program for 25 years, 25 seasons, is the way that she's been able to build a culture with this group. The expectation or the standard is excellent. And I saw Ralph Weekly, her husband, who they were co-coaches for a while.
An icon.
Yeah, yes, for a little while. But since Karen is taking over the reins full-time after his retirement in 2022, the expectation remains as nice job by Sanaya Hill at second base for 2 down. She likes this group. She likes this group. She loves this group. She's energized by this group. 9 Women's College World Series. We mentioned 2 of the last 3 seasons they've made it to OKC. They've hosted a number of regionals, going for, again, number 21. We'll get a chance to chop it up with Coach Weekly.
There's a lot of things I love about the Weeklies, and especially getting to know Karen just the past few seasons in that head coach role since Ralph retired. She's committed to the development of this group. They read a book every single year. The culture commitment, I think, that she has for Tennessee is something I really like to witness and pick her brain on every single season. She's got a lot of isms, a lot of sayings that I really like. One that Karen always says that I really love and connect to is, I'd always rather have a woe than go player. She'd always rather pull the reins back from a young player or a transfer than try and get them to rev up the engine. And you're seeing that this season with her newbies, with her transfers. I mean, they're all go all the time.
You speak to kind of what gets them riled up, what gets them going. You asked, hey, what's the word this year? She said dominate.
That's it. In everything, not just dominating opponents, but dominating you. Dominate yourself. Everything you do, how you recover, how you fuel, how you practice, how you train, dominate it. Do it one way or don't do it at all.
This one caught by Forrester, who was tailing to her left in that foul line, and that ends the inning, but not before Elsa Morrison got into it.
5th home run of her freshman campaign. It's the insurance here for a 2-0 lead for the Lady Vols.
Yes, now, and to further on the idea of dominate, how have you seen your team dominate not only in today's game, but this weekend?
Well, I think when we've got ourselves into jams, we've really reached deep within, in the circle especially, and got ourselves out of them. I mean, that was a huge strikeout on Abrascato with the bases loaded. I mean, she's a great hitter, and I just feel like, you know, our pitchers are really tough in that respect. They might get themselves into it, but they're going to fight like heck to get out.
Coach, I know you mentioned returning to some things that you had harped on earlier this year, communicating at a high level, seeing the game, talking the game. Do you feel like you've seen it in these past 3?
I do feel like I've seen it Thursday and Friday. Today, I don't know that I'd grade us as high. I think we need to pick up the fight, and we need to be much more intentional about those things and take the fight to them. You know, we get runners on second and third, no outs, and 3, 4, 5 up. We got to have much better at bats right there, and a lot of that just has to do with playing with your eyes. Definitely playing with your eyes, because you know we need to be making some adjustments that we're not making, and that's typically the problem when we don't make those adjustments.
All right, thanks, Coach. We appreciate the time.
Yep, thank you.
Always great insights from Karen Weekly. And when we talked with her earlier this week, she was just like, look, I know that in order for us to advance and what it takes for us to win in Oklahoma City, we've got to have great pitching and defense, but we also will need that offensive production,
Have to.
that timely hitting.
Yeah. It's part of it. You got to have all 3, I think, to go the distance.
Right up the middle, and to lead it off is Lenny Ramsey. So each of the 7, 8, 9 batters for the Tigers have come up with a base hit.
1 pitch, 1 swing. This is kind of jams her up on the end of the bat, but it gets by Newer in the circle. Past the middle infield. That's the first time that Mizzou has had the leadoff on all game.
And Updegrove now stands in. Madison Updegrove, who singled along with Linger and had themselves with an opportunity, but it was Aaron Newer, as we heard her coach talk about, close that door and really dig deep within to get out of that jam. 14 wins already on the season for the sophomore Newer. And when she starts a game, we popped a graphic before, this team is 15-1. When she starts things off.
Updegrove has been such an integral part of Mizzou's defense, held down the fort in that shortstop position, has worked really well in that middle infield. You've seen her play a little bit in her career at second base as well, but Updegrove and Hill have been a part of that stellar Tiger defense that we've come to know, appreciate this season.
And aboard once again, this time via the walk. And so when we came in, we talked about how the bottom of the lineup needed to get into action, and they have done so here this afternoon. 7 through 9 has produced 3 singles, and you just saw the walk to Updegrove. She did a little walk it out to first base.
We'll walk it out. Yeah, this is exactly what we asked Coach Anderson about. The opportunities have been there for the Tigers. And in context, too, against arguably one of the best staffs in the nation per ERA, strikeout to walk ratio. So what does it take for them to get it across the finish line? Where a very poignant answer from Larissa Anderson was, we've got to square the ball up. And at times it just is that simple.
And Sage Marcheco is coming in now for Aaron Newer. So going to change things up in the circle with 2 aboard and no out here as needed to do.
Took us almost through an entire 4 innings So good with that off-speed rise. She's able to mix both sides of the plate.
And the bunt laid down, but the sack bunt executed by Linger to advance the runners to scoring position with only 1 out.
Margetco steps in for Neuer and immediately is tested defensively. 1 pitch, bunt attempt from Langer in the 9-hole, and Margetco able to come up and make that tag. That's a huge out for Sage Margetco, the junior.
She has been activated in each game of this series, and the junior out of Lamont, Illinois, second best ERA on the staff. So you got 2 and 3, but a little different style from Sage.
Well, and the contrast, I think, from just her teammates on this pitching staff, much different look than Neuer and Pickens. Off speed in the mid-50s. She's able to spin the ball in the high 60s.
The fountain of youth continuing to flow in this Missouri lineup. The pinch hitter, Gracie Britton, a freshman out of Ashland, Missouri. Just try to change things up to see if they can get something going and produce a run. They've been hard to come by this weekend. And this one getting past Morrison. And 1 run comes across the slide there from Lenny Ramsey after the wild pitch. And the Tigers on the board.
Anyway, the Tigers can get it done. This is just by aggressive heads-up base running. A wild pitch from Margetco allows Missouri's first run of the day.
And now the tying run 60 feet closer.
And how important, though, is that home run, that insurance run from Tennessee just last inning? The freshman Elsa Morrison.
The walk awarded to Gracie Britton, the pinch hitter, and that's going to bring up Abrascado.
Big time at bat for Britton to take that free bag, to pass the bat with an out on the board to the toughest lefty in this starting order. Abrascado had a home run in the first game. Has been the RBI producer all weekend long for Mizzou.
So the pinch hitter coming in at first base is Callahan. Claire Cahalan rather at first. And up to Grove over at third. And Abrascado, you talked about our numbers, 331 batting average, just shy of double digits in the home run category. And again, was able to knock one out of the park in this series. And Sage Margetco, we saw her start off the first 2 games for Tennessee. She was immediately pulled after 2 outs because she was just trying to find the location.
Mizzou saw her well, very well. They did not chase out of the zone, barreled her up with a lot of control. I think maybe the decision to go here to Margetco, obviously part of that was the fact that we unexpectedly saw Pickens late in the game yesterday. I don't know that that was on either one of our bingo cards in game 2. That's not typically how they've managed Pickens throughout this season during 3-game series.
It's been the response for me for Sage Margetco, right? You start game 1, you struggle, you come back game 2, you're able to pick up the win, 2 runs, only 1 earned, struck out 7, and that buckling changeup. You see just trying to time that up, but that's what she offers. And when it comes in, it's coming in at a different pace and speed than what you would see from Newer or Pickens.
45 miles an hour.
Marcheco rings her up. The big strikeout there for Sage Marcheco. And taking second base, so got 2 runners in scoring position, but look at the last 2 games. This is exactly what we're talking about. 2/3 inning in that first inning, it was a tough one. She walked 3, but answered in yesterday's game. And coming back strong here after the wild pitch, put a run up for the Tigers, a walk to Britton.
This is part of that game within a game. This is my hitting brain and my obsession with breaking down the analysis of hitting approach. Is Abrascato, her home run in game 1 was on the rise ball. You know, looking at the stats from Marcheco all season long, the majority of the home runs that she's given up, the majority of extra base hits that she's given up have been off the rise ball. So if you're Abrascato, you got to know you're going to see some change of speed and you're going to get hammered low in the zone. That's where she's been hit the hardest all year, and the fact that Abrascato herself went yard with the ball up letter high.
Well, your RBI leader in Abby Carr fouls that one off. And behind the count, 0-2. So able to cut the deficit in half in this inning. And again, the situational hitting for Missouri has been a challenge, and caught looking is Carr. Back-to-back strikeouts in relief for Sage Marcheco. This one was filthy.
Spin it.
But they were able to cut the lead in half as we move to the top of the 5th. Looking around the league, some of the scores, Texas and Arkansas, 3-1 lead, and how about it? Give it up for Sierra Harrison and the wonderful career that she has had here in Columbia, Missouri. The standing ovation from the crowd on this Saturday afternoon, a warm embrace from her head coach. The senior out of Lee's Summit, Missouri, and I love it because over the years we have covered Mizzou softball. Larissa Anderson saw her as the future when she stepped onto this campus as a freshman. She's been able to tap into that potential. A true Tiger, as we've mentioned, and you heard her coach echo those same sentiments.
It's been such a stud for them in the circle. Spins the ball well. The way that she manages the strike zone, tough situations. She has just such a grit about her approach in the circle. When we talked to Larissa Anderson about Sierra Harrison, she says that she is all in it all the time with the guts of a true Tiger. 4 years at Mizzou, was a COVID recruit. We mentioned taking her official visit over Zoom, and here she is in her senior season.
Yeah,
so cool.
I love that. And that's hard to do. Marissa McCann coming in relief now, and the junior with 30-plus appearances on the season now, and the scouting report on her is
she'll throw rise predominantly up in the zone, both sides of the plate, but can pair that in contrast with the drop ball at the knees. You see there the vertical break, 12 inches. That is a wide range to cover and have to protect as a hitter.
And the first batter she will face is Ella Dodge. Dodge, who has been on base the more unconventional way, right? The free passes, walked in the first, hit by the pitch in the 3rd inning. And she's looking to square up to just try to find something that she can hit. Remember, she pulled it yesterday with the solo shot. Was trying to see if it stayed in fair territory down the right field line, and did.
And the speed at the top of this order, too, for Ella. She scored back in the first. 11 stolen bases on the year. She's one of those you want to keep off the base paths.
When bouncing across.
Cam trying to settle in. This is an arm typically that Mizzou really relies on. Coach really relies on her, said that she really is just going to focus on riding the arms of McCann and Harrison this entire season. Been the workhorses of this staff.
And gets Dodge swinging. So the first punch out for McCann as she enters the ball game.
It's on the outer half of the plate, a really nice location, breaking away from the hands of Ella Dodge, and just beats her. Late barrel. It's a big out at the top of this inning for Mizzou.
That brings up Alana Leach. Leach, who entered college softball, recruited primarily as a slapper, had the ability to kind of swing away in the process, and we have watched that development grow and grow, as you've mentioned, a dozen home runs this season. Quickly behind the count, 0-2. McCann readies. Delivers. And bounces in for ball one.
McCann has been unable to locate that drop ball yet. We've seen her a two-hop the dirt a few times to Abriscato behind the plate, establishing that drop ball movement. Just hasn't been there.
And this one foul just down the left field line. Was looking for an opposite field base hit. They're just a few inches too wide. Mizzou faithful have come out, but see sprinkles of Tennessee orange in the stands. Trying to go that way again. Once more foul. Repeating that same swing.
Alana Leach has the timing. Those are two screwballs that are breaking away for her. She's not rolling over early on that location.
And this one over to short, played well by Updegrove, and 2 away.
Playing her perfectly. Updegrove is up the middle of the field, shaded just towards second base, where the scouting pays off. Perfect defensive setup. You can see they're still shaded to the pull side against both the Leach twins.
Aggressive swing early from Leach on that first pitch. Both Leach sisters have produced a 2-bagger this afternoon. The RBI double by Gabby Leach to get the Lady Vols on the board first. Back in the first. Harrison looking on after 4 innings pitched. And this one popped up shallow center field. And a 1-2-3 inning for the Tigers pitcher McCann. Cutting the lead in half last inning. However, Missouri the storyline for them has been the runners left on base all weekend.
Opportunities have been there. It's just the inability to get it across home plate.
23 ducks left on the pond.
8 just today.
So Abby Hay, who has been aboard, she's been walked twice this afternoon, leads it off here in the bottom of the 5th. Just a reminder to our viewers, right? Missouri, lots to play for. Now or never for them. They're looking to get to 500. You get to 500, you are eligible for a regional. And for Tennessee, they are certainly keeping watch of what's happening in that Oklahoma-Texas A&M series. Right now, the Sooners with a 2-0 lead. Midway through that game, they've got a doubleheader coming up. So if it holds, that Tennessee is able to win and Texas A&M drops one today, then Tennessee will move up to the 4th spot and get a double bye for next week's SEC tournament. Marcheco lays this one up for Hay, and she's like, bye-bye. See you later. Tying it up with one swing. Say hey for Abby Hay. And it's knotted at 2 apiece.
There's been a freedom for Abby Hay this year in her junior season. After a tough sophomore run and an incredible freshman year, she's finally finding her sweet spot at the plate. Just a massive blast and a huge run for Mizzou.
And that gets the crowd going at Mizzou Softball Stadium. 100th career hit for Abby Hay, and a memorable one.
Look at the location. This is at the knees, and just the pitch before was that kind of borderline strike call that got the crowd a little bit on their feet. It was a drop ball low in the strike zone. Well, Abby Hay used that knowledge. She goes down, gets that ball knee high, and smashes it for the tying home run of this ball game.
What did we hear from Larissa Anderson when we spoke with her this week? This group is resilient. They have weathered their ups and downs, and while things have been roller coaster-like throughout this season, this team is always going to fight back.
This is the 3rd time that Mizzou has seen Marcheco. They hit her hard yesterday in the 1st inning. They ended up leaving the bases loaded against Marcheco, but they had a lot of hard, solid contact. They are seeing this arm well. I mentioned what's on the line too, Tiffany. If Mizzou's able to snag this win, now all of a sudden the road in the SEC tournament becomes just a bit less daunting with trying to stay above 500. Reminder, the SEC tournament play does contribute to regular season numbers. They would face Auburn in that first game, whom they did sweep in an SEC series earlier this season.
The 1-2 to Sydney Forrester, fouled back off. She re-enters the ball game, started off in right field. Comes back in. And you asked Coach Anderson just about, hey, when do you have those conversations?
Yeah, is this something you talk about? I mean, you know the reality of it, but I mean, granted, you and I know when we speak to different programs across the nation, some like to talk about those things and some don't.
Forrester goes down swinging.
There are coaches that do not want to talk about the reality of the must-have or the if this, then that. But Coach Anderson took a very different approach and said, oh yeah, we talk about it. Now, I'm not shoving it down their throats, But we have been having this conversation since mid-March when we started to really stub our toe against teams that were lower in the RPI. We started to understand, hey, if we don't shift the steers here a little bit, things are going to get very tough for us come postseason. So it's talked about. That one foul tipped. Holly behind the plate. Ouch.
Just trying to shake that off as
Drop ball right at the top of the knee. Even with the gear, that's a zinger.
Elsa Morrison's face flush red, but she's like, all right, let's get back in it and go. So much love and attention goes to the pitchers, and for a well-deserved reason. But the catchers do a lot of hard work behind the dish. Changes.
Absolutely froze Sanaya Hill. That's that devastating off speed from Marjeko, mid to high 40s, throws it out the back of the hand. See even the break on that pitch, the way it falls off the back of that table. The silencer.
Back-to-back strikeouts, as that one was nearly timed up by Lenny Ramsey.
Yeah, Ramsey looks like she came in sitting on the off speed. Was even a little late as she laced that foul.
Foul back. Well, things evened up here to start this bottom five with a solo home run from Abby Hay, then back-to-back strikeouts from Marjeko in the circle, and now the 0-2 count to Lenny Ramsey. Ball in the dirt. 1-2. This one lifted in the air, foul territory, third baseline, coming up with it are the Lady Vols, and that does it, but not before the Missouri Tigers have something to say. It means it goes by the name of Abby Hay. Fourth spot. New right fielder in Blackston. And a 2-0 count to Emma Clark to lead it off here in the 6th inning. The pitch, and for a strike, taking all the way was Clark.
For a Missouri team that has had to really scrap their way to put some runs on the board, this is where you need a Missouri defense and the arm of McCann to just hold it down. Buy your offense time. When McCann came in last inning in the 5th, that was the first 3 up, 3 down inning that Mizzou defense has had all game. Had the strikeout, first batter she faced.
Payoff. And walking the leadoff batter in Emma Clark. Remember McCann, who started off last game, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned, in 3 2/3 innings. And now coming in relief in this game for Sierra Harrison. Good time to let you know that the SEC softball tournament gets underway Tuesday at 1 Eastern on right here, the SEC Network. Coverage begins with SEC Now Live in Lexington at 12:30. All tournament games are also available to stream on the ESPN app. So pinch runner Zoe Schuler at first base, and Taylon Holly at the plate trying to advance her over to second base, laying down the sac bunt, and does so successfully with just one pitch.
Never underscore the importance, never not underscore the importance of a sacrifice bunt. I mean, that's one of those fundamental pieces of our game. Doesn't matter how elite you are, what level you're playing at, the ability to drop down the bunt, move a runner 60 feet becomes pivotal late in the season.
And guess who's up now? Elsa Morrison, who went yard her last time at the plate. Let's look back at it here from the fourth inning.
Full smash, belt high, mislocation from Harrison, and she takes it deep into left center field. Freshman season, that was the 5th of her year so far.
Swinging through that one. No ball and 2 strikes to Morrison.
You gotta be so careful here if you're McCann.
The pitcher on the way. Gets the strikeout. Marissa McCann loves it. So do the fans here. 2 down.
I gotta tell you, this pitch was pretty sweet over the meat of this strike zone. But Morrison was unable to square her up that entire at-bat.
And Waits coming in, so does the infield as that one gets past. Wild pitch that leaves Schuler now 60 feet from home as she advances.
NC Weekly calling for a timeout, wanting to have a word here with Sophia Knight. Now we're in the bottom of that order, Tiff, so this has been the portion of the starting 9 for Karen Weekly that she has applied pressure on. She wants production from the 7, 8, and 9, and here with Sophia Knight at the plate, 0 for 2. It's up to her. Opportunities dwindling away here for the Lady Vols as we get late in this ball game.
Good strategy going back and forth as Coach Anderson pulls in the infield for the Tigers, having a word with them as well. Two down for the Lady Vols. The go-ahead run at third, and so far today, Tennessee is 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Smacked away and foul. And just look at her grip and the position that she has on the bat. Chokes up just a little bit and hits it into that soft spot, reading the defense well and producing her 9th run batted in this season to give Tennessee the lead. Sophia Knight coming through with 2 outs.
Yeah, a very typical approach coming from a lefty. We're wanting to shorten up the barrel to the ball. This is a punch slap right over the 5-6 hole. You're shortening the lever. It's much more barrel control from Sophia Knight, and it's enough to get the job done. Right over the head of Updegrove at shortstop. That's all it took, was a ball right through the infield.
And wonderful job by our crew, and thank you for signaling what that is out specifically to the average viewer at home that may not know. And that's going to lead to a change in the circle for Mizzou. So we'll introduce you to the new arm for the Tigers when we come back here to Como. How productive and successful Tennessee has been with scoring 3 or more runs, 169 to 10 in that span of 3 years. And they've got the lead here, and that's exactly why we're seeing Abby Carr now in the circle, because she's got to try to deal with that and prevent any more from happening. The freshman, the two-way player for the Tigers. You see her line here. And this is what she can do in the circle. She faces off against Mackenzie Butt, who has come up in multiple pinch hitting roles this weekend and delivered each time. The sophomore out of Garden Grove, California, had that big pinch hit, 2-run single in game 1, and then produced another RBI single last game.
Yeah, this is tough for both of these young women stepping into this game. Mackenzie Butt not really having a lot of info that she can gather from the rest of her starting 9 to try and piece together a game plan of what she can expect to see here. Same thing on the flip side. Carr stepping in, a freshman. Her fellow pitchers, her fellow arms that have been in this game have not faced Mackenzie Butt. So 2 fresh slates going at it here with 2 outs on the board.
The 2-1 to Butt. And fouled off even at 2 apiece. So Butt, who came over this season, we mentioned earlier, with Sophia Knight. Knight, who is on first, responsible for this 3-2 lead. Does she go around? And yes, she does. So Carr does her job. However, Sophia Knight gives the lead today to close the door on the Missouri Tigers, and they're looking for their senior ace to do it once more to try to hold on to this lead and complete the sweep. One of the most dynamic arms you will see in all of college softball, and she is an absolute flamethrower, folks.
Upper 70s, holds the record currently for fastest pitch in college softball. Upwards of 79 miles an hour. Chasing 80, which absolutely blows my mind.
Just an amazing career for the 2-time first-team All-American. Already with a golden ticket to the league's 2nd AUSL draft. So she will continue her career, but she's looking for a whole lot more before she does that in a Tennessee uniform.
Well, it's not just the speed, too. She's got the off speed in the mid-60s, so, you know, some upwards of 10 to 12 mile an hour differential. The rise ball, move the ball east to west. There's a lot of other things that you have to respect about this arm that keeps hitters against her honest.
Hardly hit, bobbled at second base by Dodge, and the leadoff batter, Madison Updegrove, is aboard safely. The error at second base allows for Updegrove to stand at first.
This one testing Ella Dodge and gets sawed off. I mean, Updegrove hits this off of the handle, and Dodge caught on her heels. That'll give way for Mizzou to find the leadoff on.
When you think about Pickens, she's providing the power.
The heat.
This one popped up. Morrison couldn't get to it. And another opportunity for Linger, but
You're absolutely right. I think the tendency for offenses against an arm like Pickens is to overswing. Well, she's throwing harder, so I have to swing harder, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Just make sure you're on time, get the barrel to the ball, it's gonna go. She's supplying the pop.
how do you plan for her? Like, what is your approach? How can you be on time? You said 79.4 miles per hour she's been clocking?
that is the top of the charts for her, yeah.
Clark letting that one roll foul along the first base line.
There's a couple ways. I think making sure that lower body is ready to pull the trigger, getting that front foot down early. And you can take it even more of a drastic approach in the setup where you're in the back of the box. You can change the perception of time and space there with how far the ball needs to travel. There's a lot of different ways, I think, as a hitter you can attack a Carlin Pickens. But taking it one variable at a time, I think, important.
This one smacked back to Dodge and fields it cleanly. And one away. Now Updegrove in scoring position as we're back to the top of the order, and the lefty Addie Waits coming to the plate. That went outside to Waits. Waits, who grounded out to first to lead off the game, came up with the base hit the next inning. And now Addie Waits being patient at the plate, seeing 2 straight balls from Pickens.
Tough pitch to lay off of. Let her just above, let her high, especially coming at that speed. That's a pitch you kind of salivate over, hard to lay off.
Right back to Pickens, fielded well, and getting the lead runner Updegrove trying to go to third base. And now 2 away. Heads-up defensive play by Pickens.
This is a pitcher, and honestly, what feels like a 5th infielder that knows exactly what she's doing. There's no panic here. You can see that third base, Rattan, is immediately at third, waiting for that throw. A defense that has a plan. There are no surprises here. Very seasoned on this dirt.
First strike in to Abrascato. Stefania Abrascato, who jumped nearly 100 points in batting average this year. Fooled with that changeup that comes in at 67 miles per hour.
Isn't that just something else to say that out loud? I mean, that is the fastest that some of, the majority of the arms in our game are able to throw. That's her off speed.
She's worked really hard this season to develop and master that changeup. She says that has been the difference for her, being able to feel so comfortable throwing it in any count. But this one pulled into right field. And now 2 aboard with 2 outs. And the Tigers looking to roar. If they can even things up here, that would be huge.
Massive swing from Abrascato with 2 strikes, barrels this ball. That's a rise ball. Looks almost to be at her shoulders. She stays on top of this, punches this through the 3-4. And I gotta go back to that ground ball too, back to Pickens. Had she not made the heads-up play to third base, we would have a tie ball game right now.
Excellent point, Aaron. And now 2 on, 2 out, 4 outs to work with for this Mizzou Tiger team. If they want to keep their postseason hopes, NCAA regional hopes, alive. The pitch to Abby Carr, swings on that first pitch and fouls it away. Carr, who does double duty. Excellent at the plate. She came up with a single today, but we also just saw her come in relief last half inning. And so if you're Missouri, you're looking to take advantage here and try to extend this inning if possible if you're Abby Carr. And she's able to do so, punches it into right field, bobbled by Gabby Leach. One comes in to score, another one touching home plate, and Mizzou grabs the lead back. Understanding what's on the line for this Missouri team, knowing with their backs against the wall, they were able to deliver thanks to the freshman.
Pure grit from Abby Carr. Pure grit. And I want you to notice where these balls are hit. They're not overswinging. Mizzou is not taking massive home run swings. It's gap to gap, barrel to ball. When you face an arm like Pickens, you can't get too big. You got to just punch the ball through gaps, and that's exactly. I mean, they have eaten up this defense right now. And honestly, if it weren't for the heads-up play by Pickens earlier, this probably would be an even bigger lead for Mizzou.
This inning alone, we've seen 2 errors by this Tennessee defense. Ella Dodge at second base, and then the right fielder, Gabby Leach, bobbles it and allows the go-ahead run to tag home.
And one of the questions that I asked Karen Weekly coming into this weekend, if they were going to make the run in postseason that she knew they could make, what had to happen? And she said, we cannot give up anything on defense behind this pitching staff. We have to protect our arms on defense with the pitching that this team brings. We have to be airtight on D.
The 2-2 to Abby Hay, who fouls it off. They've got to try to shore up and continue to support Carlin Pickens. It has been a rough final weekend of play, though, for the Lady Vols defense. They've committed 5 errors here in Como, but caught looking there is Abby Hay. Carlin Pickens gets out of the inning, but not before Missouri grabs the lead back. We're heading to the 7th. The 6th with Missouri taking the lead. They are playing for a chance to qualify for the NCAA tournament, but it's all important, though, for Tennessee as they're looking to clinch a 4 seed with a win today and some help from Texas A&M.
There's a lot on the line here. I mean, what fight, what rally we see late here for Mizzou, a team that really has played with their back against the wall since mid-March, per Coach Larissa Anderson. A squad with the Tigers that knows what's on the line. And they came out with a massive punch against one of the best arms in the nation, Carlin Pickens, coming into circle last inning.
So pinch hitter to start it off here in the 9-hole for Tennessee, Meredith Barnhart. And we've seen all of the numbers when they're scoring first and when they lead after with 3 runs. All of those things right now on the line for Tennessee, in addition to what you just mentioned going into next week's SEC tournament.
For Mizzou, once again, trying to hold on to that 500 record. A win here would get them back to that 500 mark. And then you think of what's ahead for the SEC tournament. They face Auburn as it stands currently right out of the gate. They had a sweep against Auburn earlier in SEC play.
Should go around and commit. They say yes. Barnhart laying off for that one. That pitch outside. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. And now the count draws full. McCann, the pitch, out in front and strikes out Barnhart. Correction there, that's Abby Carr. Forgot she came in relief last inning.
Yeah, beautifully done. That's an off-speed low in the zone against pinch hitter Barnhart. Gets her way out in front.
And now Ella Dodge back to the top of the order, sees strike 1.
Another off-speed pitch, low 50s. We've seen her hang in the 48 mile an hour up to about 53 with that changeup.
Carr going to work right now.
Dealing.
This one punched in the shallow left. The scoop diving grab from Lindsey Ramsey. Lenny Ramsey coming in with the sliding catch. Missouri 1 out away, hugs all around. Let's look at it again.
This is just such a different energy from Mizzou here in the last part of this game. Offensively, defensively, from Carr in the circle. And on senior day, nonetheless, right? Picking up their senior class here at the very tail end.
It all comes down to Alana Leach. And Leach is looking to extend. Again, Tennessee wants this win, needs this win, and for A&M to drop one to Oklahoma, which they are currently behind in College Station. And going down after that swing, Abriscato just felt that one. She looks to shake it off. She's like, yeah, I'm all right.
She's trying to keep her pitcher in motion, right? In rhythm. Abby Carr feels so in control right now. And Abriscato not wanting to put a pause on that control.
She grits it out. Down to the final strike, final out. One low, now 2-2. These Tigers fans are anxious right now, on their feet. That does it! Ball game! What a comeback victory for the Missouri Tigers to knock off the 9th-ranked Tennessee Lady Vols. First win against Tennessee since May 9th of 2021. And congratulations to Coach Larissa Anderson picking up career win number 400 in their final game here at Mizzou Softball Stadium this season.
Just a massive push here at the end for Mizzou with everything on the line. They're able to finish 500 as they approach the SEC tournament.
All important for the Tigers. What a great effort from Mizzou.